name is Kenneth Muyingo, and with me I have a special guest that I would be interviewing. But first, I just want to say, if you would like to write a book and become an author yourself, if you would like to write your first book and become an author, there is a link with this video. Click on the link and join the group, become an author and write your first book to connect with like-minded people who are doing exactly the same thing. And with that said, I would like to get into the interview and ask my guest, my very special guest, to introduce herself to you. Hello, my guest.
Yes. Hi, Kenneth. How are you? It's been a long time.
It's been a while. Thank you so much. I'm doing great. Thank you for making time to be to do this interview with me. Tell us about yourself. Who are you? If somebody would like to know, if they're watching this interview and they would like to know, who is this? What would you tell them?
Right. Okay. My name's Dorine Mwesigwa, also known as Ego Mom on Facebook. That's a name I acquired after I had written and published the Iron Ego Mom book, that book there. I am a mother of 4 beautiful children, 2 girls and 2 boys. I am a speaker. I am an author of 2 other books. And yeah, in a nutshell, and I'm a life transformational coach, yes. And in a nutshell, that's really what I am, what I do, actually.
Profile, mother, speaker, coach.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's the aspect of your profile that I want us to zero in on with this interview is the author aspect.
Yeah.
About your book. And what is the vision that you have for this book?
Right. So this book is about the problems. The book that I wrote, this one, I write this book about the problems, or call them challenges, that I encountered in my life, you know, right from childhood up to today, I might say, maybe up to the time when I started writing the book, you know, how I nearly succumbed to these challenges, but also how I was able to beat them and come out on the other side as the victor. So I chose to use the victory as a tool to transform particularly women's lives, because I related very much with what women were going through, the struggles of domestic violence, you know, also addressing issues of children. I've got topics I've got a particular chapter on children in this book. So women and children were particularly my focus whilst I was writing this book, because I related very well with those challenges as I had gone through them myself. And what actually inspired me to write the book was coming to the realization that the challenges that we encounter, they don't go away. Rather, they simply represent themselves in different ways consistently. And the key to being able to live a life of fulfillment and passion rather than struggle and depression is not having those challenges, but rather it's being able to deal with them in an empowering way, I say to myself. Because obviously, when I look at the challenges that I encountered, they just didn't start yesterday. It goes way back from childhood into my teenage life, into my early adulthood, and my baby making years. So you can see that it was a recurring situation. So I said to myself, the best way to do it is to, you know, to stop throwing that pity party and use these particular challenges to empower other people. Yes.
Very powerful, very powerful. You say that the challenges that we face in life, they don't necessarily go away and they keep reappearing. And the way for us to deal with them is to embrace them in an empowering way.
Yes.
Wow. It's quite profound. And How did you choose the topic for the book?
Well, the topic for my book depicts a resilient mother who has been through the fire, but yet comes out stronger than never before. You see, if you want to make iron strong, you heat it. All right. So that's one of the words in the title. Iron is to be made stronger. So me, I'm thinking that the analogy I can make there is my challenges were heating me up and making me stronger. So that's the part of the iron. Then the ego is a winning bird with characteristics like no other bird, as we know the ego. So an ego also depicts a strong bird that takes care of its young, regardless of the storm. So whilst I was going through my challenges, I realized that whatever happened, I still stood strong and took care of these kids. So that's how I get the book, the title, The Iron Ego Mom.
Iron Ego Mom, quite a description. Thank you so much. And you mentioned that you are already working on some other books.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself as a naturally talented writer, or is writing a skill that you've developed over time?
I do consider myself as a naturally talented writer, and I do say that very, very humbly. Reason being that, you know, apart from writing and publishing my book, I can't remember a time I wasn't writing. I'm always writing and journaling stuff all the time. And when I look back into my scripts, I see that I've quite a bit. And that is how the Iron Ego Mom book was born, by the way, because I journaled each and everything. And usually I use writing as therapy. So when I came back to everything that I had journaled over the years, I realized that I had actually had enough content to put the Iron Ego Mom book together.
Amazing. And what would you tell me is the one thing that has happened in your life that has had the greatest impact on you writing books?
So one huge thing I can say that has really happened to me personally is the transformation that has come with writing this particular book, this Iron Ego Mom book. And I have learned that the book that really changes one's life is the one that they write themselves. You see, I have read several books, but there's never been a book that has spoken particularly to myself like the book, especially this one, because this is my first book, like this book, The Iron Ego Mom. I've learned that although I read the many books in my life that have impacted me and changed my life, the book that I had really changed my life is this particular one that I created myself. So when you create a book, it compels you to formalize your insights, your story, your methodologies all into the place and put it into a scalable format that can reach people and have conversations with people all over the world. So the book that you write is particularly that book that reinforces that what you already know. You know, it's already valuable. You don't have to read more about anything. It's stuff that you've been through. It's stuff you've experienced yourself. So it's, you know it. Yes.
I like that you said the book that changes your life is the book that you write yourself.
Yes.
The book that most impacts you is the one that comes out of you.
Yes.
Wow.
That's belief.
That's profound. Thank you so much. And you mentioned that you are already working on some books. Can you tell us, are you currently working? You said you have 2 other books that you're currently working on. Can you just give us a brief something about those books that you're working on?
Yeah. The first book is, the second one, it's called Transformation from the Inside Out. Now, after I had written and published the Iron Ego Mom book, I felt as though I hadn't said it all. And I thought that since I've taken on life transformation as as maybe not a career. I take it as a calling, as a purpose. I decided to write those books in a way that they'll be not only transformational but also educational books. So the other content that I've written in the other book or the material is also to transform people's lives. That's the other. This one is more, I won't call it a biography really. Part of my story is in here. And it's much of the stuff that is in here is stuff that has got to do with myself. But the other one now moves away from personalizing, like the way I personalize this book. I move away from personalizing the content and sort of make it for the reader or the person that needs the transformation. Or I call them my heroes, by the way.
Wow, transformation from the inside out.
Yes. And the third one is not really a book. It's like a mini book. It's called Dorine's Life Transformational Quotes. So it's many, many quotes, but transformational quotes. So it's a sort of mini book. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. And if somebody watches this interview and they would like to know where to get this book, first, where can people buy your book? And the second thing is, how can people connect with you? If someone watches this interview and they say, she's a transformational coach, I need some of that in my life, how can they connect?
So the book is already on Amazon. People can get that book in the format of you can buy a hard copy or you can read it online. If someone's got what's a Kindle, I think a Kindle account, someone can read it online. Yes. And like I said, my website is under reconstruction because I've changed a lot of things around. I will be giving you my website in due course, but the book is on Amazon.
Very nice. And how
I'm on Facebook
right now?
How people can reach me right now? I've got a huge presence on Facebook. People can always. I already received messages in my inbox. People, and I am the Eagle Mom on Facebook, so it's easy.
Put the link to your Facebook with this video and also the link to the book on Amazon. When you watch this video, the link to the book will be with it. And thank you so much for the time that you have dedicated to this. And one last question that I want to ask. Is there something that you wanted to share that I have not mentioned in the interview?
You've mentioned almost everything, but maybe one last thing I would really like to urge people is to write their story. When you write your story, you connect with other people because people are waiting to know what you have to offer. We all have different gifts and talents, and what you have is something you don't need, you know? And always remember one thing is that you only get to keep what you give. So if you give it, you get it back. So I'm thinking that write your story, you know, tell your story. And obviously the go-to is my dear friend Kenneth, who has invited me today. You can go to the author's page and find a way of how you can get help in writing your story. All the help is there for you.
Wow, thank you so much. I love what you just said. It really hit me. The help you give,
you only get to keep what you've given out.
I will remember that. I will remember that. You only get to keep what you give.
What you give. You can't keep anything other than that what you've given out. You can't. So because obviously whatever you have for yourself, you don't need it. You don't need it. Yeah. So if you give it, it comes back to you in the same colors, if you like. It's just like the analogy of an acorn when you go to a very empty building and echo out, what comes back to you is your voice. So that's
Exactly.
what you keep. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that we were able to do this and to make this happen. And thank you so much for the insight and the value that you've given us. And I will be connecting with you further